Welcome inside our New York studios. Brent Stover, Kevin Carter, Randy Cross-Beanie, Wells as well. Let's talk the SEC title game. Third-ranked Georgia, number 9 Alabama. The Tide 4-0 all-time against the Dogs in SEC title games, and they beat them in the regular season this year, 24-21, coming in late September. Another chapter in this great rivalry. Kirby Smart, though, just 1-7 all-time against the Tide. First quarter, Bama punting. Georgia rushing hard. Cole Spear comes in and blocks it. Huge special teams play for Georgia, and the Dogs, Beanie, are in business after that play right there.
They got it rolling. On ensuing possession, Gunner Stockton to a wide-open Roger Robertson for the score. Bulldogs strike first, up 7-0. Next possession, Alabama. Ty Simpson is picked off by Dalen Everett. Offense, defense, special teams showing up all day for the Bulldogs. Then Georgia looking to capitalize. Stockton fires to one Dylan Bell for the 5-yard score. The Dogs go 14-0.
Third quarter, Georgia drive. Stockton is going to pump fake, fakes the screen pass, then goes down the sideline for an 18-yard gain to Lawson Lucky. Dogs moving the chains. 2 plays later, Nate Frazier coming downhill, goes left, untouched, knocked down in 2-hand touch, 9-yard touchdown. Bulldogs up 21-0.
All right, yeah, fourth quarter, Alabama going for it, down 2 scores. Simpson, bad throw, incomplete. Quick pass now to Zachariah Branch, and he does the rest. Look at that run. Touchdown, Dog.
Complete domination, 28-7, the Dogs with a resounding victory for the Dogs' 6th SEC championship game win. First win against Alabama in an SEC title game. Randy, we'll start right there with you. I said the word domination. The defense, they had Simpson. They were in his face the entire game and got enough offense to make this a 3-touchdown victory.
Yeah, as an old offensive lineman, that game just sort of appeals to me. Their style currently. Kirby Smart's done a fantastic job, obviously, with the defense. Offensively, though, they have kind of gone back in time. They are now the Dogs that used to run the ball all the time. They're a running team. They've got a good offensive line, and they've got a Gunner Stockton at quarterback that can make any throw you want him to make.
Kevin?
Yeah, Gunner Stockton definitely is the one that I think has evolved through this season, but also, like you mentioned, the run game and controlling the line of scrimmage. This comparison with Alabama earlier in the year, Alabama ran for 117 yards versus this defense earlier in the year, but not the case today. The evolution of Gunner Stockton, seeing what he's able to do, 77% efficient today. Just dealing, making every throw in this offense, his decision-making, no mistakes, no interceptions. 3 touchdowns on the day, just a paramount performance by Gunner Stockton and the evolution of this Georgia defense on full display.
Kirby Smart has something about him that gets his teams to play great later in the season. And right now, they're hitting on all cylinders, playing complementary football, getting it done on the defense side, offensive side, special teams. The thing I love about Georgia right now is the way that they were in Ty Simpson's face the entire night, giving him no time to throw the ball. And then the more important thing, when you look at this football game, you have to be able to run it. What was Alabama able to do? -3 yards rushing. Such an embarrassment for them, and kudos to Georgia for Georgia getting it done in a dominant fashion.
You talked about Georgia, yeah, the 141 on the ground.
Yeah, you know what's wild, though, is you look at Kirby Smart when he was with Nick. Those Alabama teams back then, exactly what these Georgia teams are now. You better get them early, because when they get late in the year and they get on that roll, you aren't going to beat them.
We talk all the time during the NCAA tournament in March about being on the bubble. Certainly the Crimson Tide now at 10-3. Those 3 losses, including this one to Georgia, they are squarely on the bubble when the selection comes out for the college football playoff. Here's Kirby Smart.
There wasn't a lack of execution in that game at home. They outplayed us. They out-executed us. They probably outcoached us. And we weren't going to let that happen again in terms of the way we played with physicality. They're getting better. Young kids are growing up. You know, to win back-to-back SEC championships, it's I know every kid in this footprint's dream, and an honor to be at Georgia and be able to be the head coach here and win games like this.
First back-to-back SEC championship game wins for Georgia in school history. So we talked about Alabama. Obviously, he's got a lot of respect for this team. He's going to tell you that the SEC should get another team in. What do you think of the Tide coming out of this game?
After watching that, they deserve the consideration? I don't think so. I mean, There are other teams out there that they definitely would deserve it more. Alabama's not a playoff team. That is not the Crimson Tide.
When you look at the complete body of work of almost every team that we're talking about making into the college football playoff, there is a line of demarcation that has to speak to the evolution through the season. We had this argument about Notre Dame and Miami about how they evolved, and there's no doubt in my mind that a team like Notre Dame deserves to be in because of the way they've evolved since they had their stumbles early in the season. Alabama was on that same trajectory in terms of improving and developing, but the run game never got going. They never quite got Jam Miller and this whole run game galvanized in a way that could be a complement to what Ty Simpson was able to provide in terms of passing and processing in the pocket. They became one-dimensional, and they ran into a buzzsaw like Georgia. And talk about Georgia. I mean, look, talk about the three parts of your program, who you can recruit, who you can keep and develop, and who you can get from the portal. There is none better at that middle component of developing players than Kirby Smart. That's why he's talking about the evolution of this team, and that's what I think a common thread has to be in the 12 teams that are selected. They have to be evolving and playing their best football right now.
I'm in 100% agreement with both of you guys. They're not evolving. They're taking steps backwards. And you can sit there and say since they lost to Florida State in week 1, they made strides. Yeah, they did, especially with Ty Simpson and the way that the offense was going. But they lacked that one thing. They lacked that toughness, that identity to be able to line it up and hit you in the mouth when need be. We haven't seen that out of Alabama at any point this year. We started to see it just before they lost to Oklahoma in terms of them just not being able to run the football and the glaring issues showing up with Ty Simpson and his ability to force the ball and force turnovers. So this is a scary situation for Alabama and Kalen DeBoer. I believe they do not deserve an opportunity to be considered to be in the college football playoff based on what we've seen out of our own two eyes. I know people can go all day long and say, look at who they played, look at how they played. I think it's important to really pay attention to how they played and how they've been getting things done.
All right, Kalen DeBoer, let's hear his pitch to get his team into the college football playoff.
And if this game applies to and takes away from our resume, I don't think that's right. I really don't. I think the precedent's been set, and I don't know how you can go into a conference playoff game when you're the number 1 seed and did all these things throughout the year, and playing in this game against one of the top teams in the country as well. How that can hurt you and keep you out of the playoff when, again, we've done what we've done all year.
Here's the resume. We knew in week 1 this was going to hang over them, especially the way Florida State's season ended up, really all season long, getting beat by 2 touchdowns. Obviously, you beat Georgia there. You beat a ranked Vanderbilt team. You beat a ranked Missouri. You beat a ranked Tennessee. Beanie, I know you just said they don't belong, but I just want to play devil's advocate with you and have you explain it, perhaps all over again. If this team, Alabama, did not play in the SEC title game, they would have been sitting in the clubhouse, having the week off, get healthy, 10-2, probably would have made the college football playoff. So can we punish them for playing in their conference championship game in the toughest conference in America and losing?
Yeah, absolutely, especially how you lose. How they lost this game was in an embarrassing fashion. They were dominated in every single phase. And when you talk about a team that's supposed to be getting ready for the college football playoff, one of the top teams in the country, you don't lose like this. This doesn't happen in this way. And one crazy stat that I found, the last time Alabama's had a 100-yard rusher was week 5 versus Vanderbilt. I can't sit there and tell you when's the last time we talked about an Alabama football team and they only had one 100-yard rusher in a season. That is embarrassing and indicative of the direction that they're going in.
I agree with everything that you said. I'll take it one step further in terms of the evolution of how teams are supposed to be playing right now. Look, we didn't see Oklahoma square off against Georgia. Maybe we would have seen them exposed and not being able to run the ball, and we would have saw the limitations of John Mateer in that Oklahoma offense, but we didn't see that, okay? Right now, we got a chance to see Alabama and their lack of evolution up close and personal, and they got exposed on national television. And right now, body of work and how they showed up today, they don't look like a team that's supposed to be in when you compare them side by side with blind resumes and how you are playing football in this moment. I think that has to matter, especially because it's a crowded room trying to get into. This is a crazy game of musical chairs where you got a bunch of 10-2 teams that are sitting there all making their case to be in the college football playoff. You better have a better argument than just talking about what you did in the regular season if you're Alabama with no evolution.
But, Randy, they would have been better off not playing in the SEC championship game.
Well, they're not the Lone Rangers in that. You look over the last couple of years, it's been almost an advantage not to be in your conference championship game because you can't hurt your chances. There's two warning signals on this Alabama team. Number one was the second half performance against Georgia. Now they won that game, but the way they were offensively kind of like neutered during that second half was a big time hint. And then the aberration was not that Auburn game. You watched that Auburn-Alabama, the Iron Bowl, and you went, that's Alabama's offense? Right. You saw it again tonight. It was the same offense.
SEC champions, the third-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. They will find out their seeding when the rankings come out on Sunday. So long.